Alright, I'd like to do a quick overview and mini review for Tunche. I received the review key from the publisher. I should give a disclaimer. I imagine a lot of the things that I'm going to point out as flaws will probably be worked out in patches. However, I'm sure you know how things work on console. It's got to go through certification and everything. So, if anything that I mention here as a flaw gets fixed, you might not want to buy this on Switch. It's definitely got some pretty glaring things that are wrong with it. It's definitely not a bad game. I just don't think it's the best roguelike, and I'm going to go into why pretty much right now. Okay, so first off, this is your hub world. I have beaten the game, so everything as far as I know is unlocked. I was not given any kind of press release or anything, so I'm just going off what I've discovered. But you've got 5 characters. The thing about this game is you really only want to focus on one character at the start, because there are a lot of passives that I'll get into right now that really determine how you can, how far you can progress through the game. This game tries to be skill-based, but honestly, it's kind of a grindy game in disguise. Go ahead and show you an example right now. So this is the skill tree. So you've got some moves in here. These are pretty much just Dynasty Warriors charge attacks. So if you played any Musou games, you'll be right at home with how to execute these. You've also got variants for your moves. These actually have cooldowns. I got the majority of the stuff in here. So you've got the ability to get more potions. You can make the potions heal more. You can get more mana. And then in here, these are unlocked by beating each boss respectively. You cannot ignore these. When you start this game, you have 100 health. There are attacks that will do 25 to 30 damage. Just purely, to be purely honest, you're not getting through this game with the base stats. You have to get these. You have to prioritize these over moves for the most part. You need to get at least a few of these. There's a lot of reasons why, which I'll get into as I get into gameplay. So these are all the unlocks. These are not shared between characters. So if I go back to... this is the character I was playing first. You notice he doesn't have any of that stuff unlocked. So he's got to go grind for that. Likewise, I only beat the first boss with him. So he's got 100 health and 100 mana. Now you can talk to this llama here and get more. So let's go ahead and do that. So now I have 26 essence. Essence is essentially experience. So you can play through with one character and then level up the others, but the game doesn't really give much of a reason to. Essentially, when you finish the game, there's not really a whole lot else to unlock. Okay, now this character, Ogi, she sells a lot of the spiritual cores, which are essentially items. The problem I have with these is they try to really encourage you to use the stylish meter to proc a lot of these. The problem is that you have to upgrade them for them to be even remotely useful, and the best ones to take are pretty much always the ones that heal you. Like this one just gives you a flat health bonus every time you enter a room. And you have this one which gives you lifesteal. And this is pretty much really important to surviving or getting farther in the game on your first run. So you can upgrade all of these with the currency down there in the lower right hand corner. If you do play this, I recommend just working on the healing stuff first. This game has the same problem that a lot of other video games have. If you've watched my streams before, you know that I always say that status effects are always like a one-sided interaction in video games, meaning that the enemies can put all this annoying stuff on you, but then you can't put it on any of the bosses. That's pretty much how the bosses are here. They're very one-dimensional. Can't really do a whole lot with them in general. So, generally, anything that's red involves healing. You want to focus on the lifesteal, and the one that gives you more health when you're at a quarter of your health. Everything else you do secondary. They honestly don't make much of a difference. Itemization in this game is not very good, to be honest, mostly just because of the really strict proc requirements for pretty much all this stuff. So generally, you just want to focus on these. The runs actually aren't that much different. And you can also use this currency. I don't remember what this currency is called, but you can get some extra shops and healing fountains this way. So let's go ahead and play with the maxed out character. show a little bit of the gameplay loop. So you have a normal attack, you have a launcher, you have like a little helm breaker type thing here. You've got variants for your moves, you got a dodge, you can dodge cancel. You can dodge in any direction, which is really nice. Most games don't let you do that. You also have your mana attacks. Upper left-hand corner, you'll see a yellow bar filling up. That's actually your super bar. Now, this game is very slow-paced at the beginning. It takes a lot longer to kill things. Like that air dash one feels kind of pointless. I'm sure some people will correct me later on, but these are just my experiences from playing the game blind. Okay, so now that's filled up, so let's get some enemies to spawn. The amount of damage you do directly makes the game a lot faster. This game is kind of a lot like Skul. I don't know if you guys played Skul when it released, but Skul kind of had the same problem this game has, where just at the start it's very slow-paced, takes a long time to get going, run length is a bit too long. But as you get more damage passives, it will get better. So your variant moves like that actually have a cooldown, the other moves do not. You can see how long this is taking, even with a mostly maxed out character. So I can only carry one super at a time. I think the other one for this character is better because it's better for bossing. Okay, so these are challenges. If you do these, you'll get a chance to get something. But I kind of don't want to do that right now because there's no point. I'm already maxed out. So we're going to go through the first level here. There's 4 levels. So if you upgrade here, you can actually get some of the passives. And like I said, the only ones that are worth getting is pretty much the healing ones. Anything else is not really worth it. I would only specialize in the other ones after you've unlocked or you've earned the healing ones for the specific run. Either buy them at the beginning or try to hit up the shops and get them. Everything else is kind of supplementary. Unfortunately, the items are not very interesting in this game. Alright, here's the first boss. Luckily, this is a pretty good, easy game to overview because it's pretty simple. So bosses in this game are actually a little bit similar to Tales of Arise, with the addition of a stun bar. That stun bar there, the green bar, that's what determines when they get stunned. And it's the only time that you can actually do damage to the enemies, to the bosses. Which I'm not a particularly big fan of. I'd say about half of the bosses in this game, they really want you to wait around. Wait around before you can hit them, and it's not terribly interesting. It doesn't help that a lot of the items really don't help on the bosses at all, so... I think the games that this would most be compared to would be other skill-based, heavily combat-focused games, like Dead Cells, Skul, Wizard of Legend, Hades. Those games are all much better roguelikes than this is. The roguelike elements in this, at least now, pre-release, they feel very tacked on. The game doesn't really have the replay value to warrant being a roguelike, unfortunately. There's a number of reasons for that. The first is the fact that there's only 5 bosses. Also, the fact that the items don't really do anything interesting. There's really not much of a build in this game at all. Like, this I have right here, the Lifesteal and then the Vital Explorer. That basically guarantees that I can finish the game. Anything else past that, I mean, it's nice to have, but it only works on trash mobs or mooks. So, unfortunately, I would not recommend this game if you're looking for a roguelike with like a lot of build variety and decision-making and stuff. If you're looking for that, I think this game really pales in comparison to the other greats in the genre, but if you're just looking for a beat-em-up that, you know, it's got 5 characters to play, it's got beautiful art and music, the presentation is nice, I think this game is worth it, but ideally you'd probably would want someone to play it with. That would probably make it a lot more fun as well, but in terms of replay value, it's just very lacking. The items are not very interesting. There's really no decision-making in this game at all. It's pretty much just pick the healing stuff. The healing stuff is far more useful than anything else. The bosses don't really allow you to use pretty much any of the items at all. All of those things just mean that after I beat the game once, I kind of feel like I would rather just wait for patches instead of playing this again. But for $20, it's not bad. It's just, for $20, you can get other roguelikes with similar combat, or similar emphasis on combat that are much better roguelikes than this. And it's a shame to say that because they put a lot of work into this, but unfortunately the roguelike aspect of this game feels very unpolished, very unfinished. So if I select this character again... Well, actually it didn't let me keep the currency, but... basically, your essence will go towards these. Generally, if you want to actually finish this game, you want to focus on getting the bosses down as fast as possible, because these where your damage and survivability come from. Honestly, the potions don't even matter. The balance is kind of out of whack. The potions don't even really matter. They're nice for an emergency, but with the amount of experience it would take to get those, you can just max these out, and your character is going to be relatively unstoppable, as long as you're making good decisions and stuff. Some of these moves are nice to have. I haven't really tried the other characters yet, but they're not really necessary either. Unfortunately, a lot of them are pretty much shared. The only ones that are not shared are these variants of your dodge and your air dash, respectively. Those are different for every character, and then these are unique too. But all the other stuff in here is the same for everybody. Unfortunately, the moveset is very small. At the beginning of the game, you're going to have pretty much just an S string, a launcher, and an aerial string, and that's basically it. Also, everything takes a really long time to die because you have no damage. You can look at the items here, just so you guys know I'm not BSing you here. You know, stylish rank. Actually, no, this one is not stylish rank. This one is a proc chance, so this would actually be worth taking, but we've got stylish rank here, and here, and here. Vast majority of them. They just are not useful. They don't really change how the game plays, and on the bosses, they become completely useless. Hopefully, if they do some patches for this game, I'd say the main things it needs is, for one, better pacing. Eliminate a lot of the rooms where you fight 2 to 3 waves. That would make the game flow a lot faster. And also, make some of these more impactful. Maybe make some of them have different proc chances for bosses, so that there would be more of an emphasis on builds instead of just pure skill. I actually beat the third boss, actually pretty much all the bosses in this game, blind. I did not watch any footage at all. I beat the third boss on my first try with just pure skill, which is very satisfying, but unfortunately this is a roguelike, and in roguelikes you expect to have to make decisions regarding builds and what items you take, and you know, how you spend your resources wisely to clear the run. And here it just feels like really the only thing that matters is just making sure that you can heal and learning the boss attacks, which is great for a normal beat-em-up, but this is advertising itself as a roguelike, and I feel it really does not deliver. If that doesn't bother you, if you're just looking for a beat-em-up to play with your friends co-op, I think this game is great, but if you're looking for something like Dead Cells or Hades or something where you can dump like dozens if not hundreds of hours because of all the builds and cool decisions and changes you can make over the course of the run, I can't really recommend this game, unfortunately. They did say that, you know, they'll probably do patches for this and they'll end up on PC first. So if you like what you see here, but you're kind of on the fence about buying it on Switch because of the fact that they might do changes, I would recommend just getting it on PC. I own a copy of the game now on PC, thanks to the publisher. So if there's any updates, I'll let you guys know. Thanks for watching.